So hello viewers of the Know Your Candidate digital campaign. It's so good to have you in today's segment in which we host one of the candidates for Member of Parliament Kasese Municipality. I'm sure you are anxious to indulge him on his personal experiences, his personal life, his academic experiences, his values and motivations, and most importantly, what he seeks to achieve for the people of Kasese Municipality once or if elected to lead the municipality as Member of Parliament in 2021. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm okay. God has given me the life, and I should thank Him for that.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
How is the campaign so far?
Well, we are yet to start officially, but I'm in touch with my coordinators, in touch with my agents, and I think we are good to go.
Wow.
This is like a battle.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So I'm sure that the viewers are anxious and anticipating to learn more about you because they already know about you. Though what we've seen during the running of these campaigns is that most times people don't get to interact with their candidates at a more personal level. They see you at a rally, they see you on a poster, but this seeks to create an avenue for you to connect more with the voters so they will know you, they will know your story away from the chit chat on the streets. So in a nutshell, who would you call yourself? Your name, what you're running for, and a bit about your personal history.
Yeah, I'm Karamagi Stephen Glen, standing and Member of Parliament Kasese Municipality, a municipality that I was born in, studied in, before I went for further studies. So I am basically a married man. I have 4 kids, 1 girl, and God willing, I still have more. Maybe you never know, I might have twins and I'll be a salon. So, so I did business administration, Makerere University Business School. I did sports administration and management. And I've been in media for long. I worked for UBC for close to 10 years as a sports producer, a sports presenter, and analyst as well. I have nurtured players. I've been a manager of Titus Tugume, the kickboxer in Uganda. I've been in touch with Halima Nakai, Winnie Nanyondo, Musagala. These guys have been together at Kampala University.
Yes. When
I was a media personnel at the same time, I was a scout. I scout for the university athletes. So all those been with them for many years, and they're my good friends. It's because of COVID. They can't wait to come to Kasese and prove you that he is the right man. Sure.
Wow, I see that you have a history in the media and a history in sports promotion and management. Yeah. And I know that our experiences usually shape the kinds of choices and decisions we make in future. I will not be surprised to hear, as you elaborate more, that this shall influence your manifesto. So, key in this interview, we want to bring out the values and motivations of candidates for the viewers to know the kinds of people they are entrusting with power and influence and resources. So, what would you call those core values and principles upon which your life is premised?
Well, it's a good question. But let me tell you, I'm one man who stands for unity. One person stands for peace. Business. I'll tell you, not because I did business administration, but I grew up in the life where business supports you. When you talk of unity, being born in Kasese, predominantly Bakonzo, we learned how to speak Bakonzo. When we were still in Kasese primary, we would dance Okotora and Makonzo. And this gave us a lot of happiness and pride to associate with them. Learning a language was through that, because it became much easier for us to do with them. So, and it's peace. I'll give you an example. During primaries, there were a lot of chaos. But all the youth, I told them, don't do anything, go home. Let us see what to do. Because if we engaged ourselves in stabilizing the peace which we yearn for, it would have done bad to us. I stand for culture. I'm a man who respects culture. And I think Kasese should go back on the roots and look at their culture and respect the culture. So I stand for a lot of things, not because I'm a politician, but there are those that motivates me a lot.
Yes.
And I believe we can do it. And I know this is the right time. We focus on Kaseserians. If you're in Kampala or you're in UK, you're there, but are you Kaseserians? How do we fight for our Kasese in a most peaceful way? How do we put Kasese, a district that is known for bloodshed? It's a fact. It's known for bloodshed. Everyone knows what happens in Kasese. But at this time, we want to look at how do we make Kasese a better place for investors, for youth, for all of us. How do we enjoy? How do we say that I'm proud to come from Kasese?
Yes.
It's what we are on, and I think we've started.
Wow. So I see that you have a history with Kasese. You were born here. I was born in the early 90s. You were born probably in the 80s. Yeah. So you have a better picture of this area than I do. And your candidature is unique in that you are somebody who has grown up here, who was born here, and you are Karamagi.
Yeah, I'm Karamagi.
So, and I would like it to come out properly. Your experiences growing up in Kasese, and how you think that they've changed over time, and how you think they can be better going forward.
Yeah, in the 80s, even before 80s, because my grandfather, Zedekia Kika, is one of the first people in Kasese.
Oh, the very first?
The very first.
In this town?
They came with the railway.
Oh.
As soon as they were constructing the railway around. Even the late president, Dr. Milton Obote, when he came to Kasese in the 1960s, early 60s, he had lunch at my grandfather's place. Yes.
Your grandfather
Kasese.
hosted President Obote?
Obote.
What was the occasion?
Among many other things were to, in the 1962, that's when the king, that's when Bukonzo broke away from Toro.
Yes.
And Mokiranya by that time was leading a team of guys for the breakaway. And Obote came to Kasese. That was one of the few things where he came, but other things, people came from Shenyi, others came from Bara, because this was a town. On record, Kasese was the first town in Western Uganda. So many other delegates came. UPC came to meet Obote in Kasese. And also he discussed the breakaway of Konzo from Toro with the Mokirani, the late, but at my grandfather's home. That's when they had lunch before returning to Kampala. So when we were born in the 80s, we found the history, we found the guys around, and given the fact that we know how Kasese was moving, Kasese was far much better. It was good because the path it was taking, everyone would admire coming to Kasese. Even we were proud to go to Kampala and say I'm from Kasese. I'm like, yeah, Kasese, the land that has minerals, the land that has, and we were proud of that.
Yes.
But during the ADF in the mid-90s, that's when things turned bad for Kasese.
Oh.
Between 96 and 2000, Kasese stood and never moved ever since. Challenges after challenges, problems after problems. That is after the invasion of the ADF.
Yes.
So many people came from the mountains, moved to the town, and it harbored a lot of people with different characters. And now Kasese, I think, had to stop moving. The developments were halted because of the insecurity. Peace was not with people. And in the long run, we have suffered up to now. And I think it's high time. The education went down. You see, whoever was in Kasese, because we had Bulembia Primary School, we had Kilembe, we had Kasese Primary, we had secondary. These schools were at its best. Not mentioning Bwera, which is in Bwera, but I'm talking about my municipality now. They were also competing. But after the ADF, you realize the best students moved to Kampala. The students moved to Mbarara, Fort Portal. So we lost the touch of our good students and the good teachers because of insecurity. So the education also had to go to a standstill. That is why now you can't even produce the best student from within Kasese. But our students who are born in Kasese are doing well in St. Mary's Kitende.
Yes.
They are doing well in Kampala.
They perform.
They are getting first class degrees. but they are born here. Not because they are dense, that the knowledge is in Kasese. No, these guys are bright. Even they will perform better in Kasese. But because of what happened in the 1996 and 2000, the ADF invasion, decided to shift them. So we can't get credit as Kasese here, Kampala, and schools in Kampala are getting credit over our sons and daughters, whom we know that are bright, even right from home. So we need to look at education. A lot of things changed. And we need to lay a strategy and see how we bring back Kasese to where it is supposed to be. It's not a small journey, it's a very long journey, but you've got to start. In everything, you've got to start.
Now that we have a good understanding of the history that our candidate has with this land of Kasese, his appreciation of its changes, socio-economic changes over time, I'm sure you are anxious to learn about his dreams and visions and aspirations for the town of Kasese Municipality once or if elected into leadership. Now, I would like to indulge you on that question of what do you seek to achieve once elected to this office? Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Kirindiro. That's a great question. We all have dreams in life.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I'll give you a small story of Fort Portal. Fort Portal was not half of Kasese in the 60s, 70s, 80s. But what happened? They got one leader who called whoever person that was in Kampala, in Europe, come back home and we develop. That's why we think Fort Portal is now a center for the surrounding districts. All returned. That's why we are coming back home. We need to develop our place. One, the education of Kasese. We need to start. You see, education can bring the exodus of students or youth or boys and girls from different districts, and they center that in the area. That's why Kampala, the population is high, the development is high because of the education that is within Kampala. Kasese, Mbarara, they all center to Kampala for education, better education, universities and what. So as Kasese, we need to lay down the foundation of our education. What we do is, if we lift the education, trust me, you expect people to come from Mbarara and other districts to come and study from Kasese. That means these guys will come with different ideas and investments. The more the population is one of the factors of development. So when you have the population in the district and the town, the municipality, that means business guys are making the money. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to phase away the uneducated, because I'll tell you, the statistics have it that most of our women are not educated in Kasese. It is hard. 90% never completed senior 6. 80% also are senior 4 dropouts. Now, these are our mothers, these are our wives, these are our sisters. How do we deal with them? This is what we call art and craft. On top of the businesses they have, because we have few markets in the municipality, so others are absorbed in the markets. How about the rest? Because they can't work in an office, they can't apply for a job, but they've got to earn. Household income must improve each and every time. So that means we, as in education, you have to bring in this art and craft schools for tourism or training. That's just a training for tourism, because tourism is turning out to be the backbone of Uganda. And Kasese, we are very lucky. We have everything with us. But how do we work with them to get what we want? So, art and craft for the women who cannot seek for jobs, who can't apply anywhere. Art and craft that can be exported outside. Even we have the youth who have not managed to go ahead the university because of finances. And the unemployment is everywhere, by the way, in the world, even in the US, it's there. You'll find that Trump is talking about unemployment, the same story with the unemployment. But now in Uganda, making it more closer, is our youth, some of them are not educated as well. They can also train art and craft. Not only art and craft, but handwork, which can earn a living. So that is the education I'm looking at. Look at the women, look at the youth, and those who are not employed. How do we get the best out of them? So we have what we call tourism and sports. Sports tourism is hitting a lot in Europe, some African countries like South Africa, and in peaceful countries,
Yes.
sports tourism is getting better. In Kasese, we can start from there. One, we have 2 national parks. Rwenzori National Park, that has the highest peak.
Yes.
One of the best in the world. Italians always come to Uganda every July. We have Queen Elizabeth National Park that has the 4 of the biggest 5 animals in the whole world, and of which the 5th one will soon be bringing it here. So meaning Kasese is very rich when it comes to the
Tourism potential.
tourism potential.
Yes.
And that's what we need to tap. How quick do we get involved? Do you only see whites coming around, and if you realize you see art and craft shops in Fort Portal, they
Yeah.
come around, and after seeing the climbing lines around, and then they go to Fort Portal and they buy art and craft. We are sleeping.
Yeah, a lot of people see cars and okay, those are tourists,
And
but
go.
they don't know how to tap into it.
Exactly. So we need to have market for art and craft. 2, we have an airfield. Ike Sirian, it is sleeping for years. The first international airport in Western Uganda was Kasese here. You see how blessed we were. But now, Mbara is also having an airfield as we speak. For since the tourism state, they are looking for land to have an airfield. Ours is sleeping, and people are comfortable. They don't have time to talk about it. But this is a source of income for many because it can create jobs.
Yes.
So, if Fort Portal is a tourism city, how do we benefit? One, we have the 2 national parks, we have the airfield. Let the tourists come and land in Kasese, go visit Queen, visit Rwenzori, then go to Fort Portal and sleep and have fun, if so it demands. But we also have hotels, so they can decide to have it all here. That's how we can tap from Fort Portal. Because it's a tourism city, Kasese can tap from them. So we just have to electrify everything we have and make sure that we benefit. Let us not sleep and create beef. Instead, let us have a way of benefiting from them. If the airfield works, that means tourists will come. If the education is coming, the population will increase. That means hotels will have more food for the people. Accommodation will be in position for people to rest. And it means a lot.
Yeah, these systems interact with each other. When
Exactly.
a tourist comes in, they spend something, and that person, it always has a multiplier effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at sports, I've always wanted to have a football club in Kasese. I've always wanted to have that. That proved me wrong when Eunice Sentam played well for the national team.
Oh.
And I was the commentator on TV by that time and the analyst. And Eunice Sentam is just a homeboy here. And from Wera here, and he has a very good hotel in Katwe. There's purity. Within 2-3 years, he has a hotel.
Oh, that's how much change sports can create in someone's life.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and given the fact that I'm exposed enough, I've moved to Barcelona, I've seen how Barcelona came up, I've seen Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, how they compete. Do you know what it means if you had a club and it is playing for Porto Toro United here in Kasese? You know what it means? Do you know the number of people who go to watch? Do you know the rivalry, the derby itself, the derby and the rivalry that will come out when Kasese is playing Toro, or it is playing Mbarara? Do you know Kasese can be the king of the derbies around the place? It is possible. It's a time for us to think, how do we start?
Okay.
And do we have the boys? We have the boys. I'll give you a simple example. Atletico Bilbao is in Spain. It decided to have only homeboys in the club. Only.
It does not import players.
No. For instance, looking at homeboys.
Homeboys.
As long as you're a Kaseserian, this is your club.
Wow.
You tap within Kasese. Okay, you might be, because there are few who are born in Argentina, also Argentina by nationality, but they are born in the area like Atletico Bilbao. Okay. So you find he's an Argentine, but he's born in Spain in Atletico Bilbao. So he accesses the team. So you might have also people who are born in Congo. They are Congolese, but they are born in Kasese.
Yes.
Those ones are qualifying to be part of
a
club, Kaseserian. So we are looking at how do we help ourselves. Because, yes, you can't lie, the population is increasing.
Yes.
You want it or not, it is increasing.
I've seen. Kidodo was not here 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Temangala was not there. Now it's highly populated.
Chikonjo was also not there.
Yes, Chikonjo.
Lero had less than 100 people.
Yes.
But now, look at the population. So that means the boys are being born every day. They have the talent. Be the girls, be the boys. We can find a way of moving into the sports world or the sports industry and fill that space. Yes. And we have sports and tourism. So I expect to have a national team. I've seen members of parliament who have clubs in their districts and they are performing well. You can't, it's expensive to have a football team. It's very expensive.
Yes.
But you've got to be in parliament because there is that extra income you can eject in and it pushes the club to another level. So I expect to develop that much. And on top of that, to give scholarship to those talented boys. I'll give you an example. Titus Tugume was a talented kickboxer. And he had finished year 6 and he had no money to go for university. I got him a scholarship at Kampala University.
Titus Tugume,
The
kickboxer.
Yes.
Oh.
And that's the time I started managing him. So I got for him the scholarship at Kampala University. Not only him, a team of guys at Kampala University, I have had a hand in helping them get the
sports scholarships.
So I can bring it home. I'm home. If boys are playing well, it's a point of taking the boy to a university and he gets scholarship. He gets the education because of his skills and talent. And we have the boys around. I watched Boma and the team from Wera, it's called Asinja. They are trying to qualify for the big league.
Yes.
I moved to Kampala. I went down to the technical center, Njeru. I watched the boys play. That's the passion I had. And I said, but I think Asinja should have been in Kasese, not in Bwera. But all the same, we have the boys in Kasese. They can still do it. So I felt so much attached there. So if these things are looked at in Kasese, they are good for a start.
Yes.
And that means the development will start from there.
Yeah, they always have multiplier effects.
Yes, true.
Okay.
So for crying out loud, Kasese need a lot. I stand for culture. I told you before. Culture is very important. When we had the recent misunderstandings between the central government and our king, it was very bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very good picture.
Yes.
I'll tell you this, either you believe in it or not. A king is the head of culture.
Yes. They are the cultural head of the society.
Now that means the Bukonzo culture is headed by the king. Leave alone the political ambitions, the misinformation that may be around the palace. No, the fact remains, he heads the culture. If you leave home, you need to fight for your family. You should be proud of being a Ugandan. And should be also be proud of your culture.
Yes.
Where you belong and how you start your life and how your norms stand and how they move.
No, culture is that software that informs behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, those three things should be important. So our culture, either you speak the language, don't speak the language, the culture that you're living in, that is how it's supposed to be respected. And I'm very sure soon the information we're getting is good. Some people have been released.
Oh.
They are planning to have land for the king to return. Those who don't believe in him, yes, you be there. But doesn't mean that you should hate. But one thing you know, he is the head of our culture, the culture that we all want to associate with. So I basically think being a director of Conserva Heritage, because I was having Conserva Heritage. I'm a director of Conserva Heritage. The heritage of Bukonzo starts with Omusinga.
Yes.
So
he's the figurehead.
The figurehead. The heritage of Toro starts with Omukam.
Yes.
The heritage of Buganda starts with Kabaka. So that is how it is. All we need to do is how do we live together?
Yes. How
do we promote it? So when it comes to politics, we need to look at the diversity of the area that we want to have. And I believe it's the way to go.
Wow, it's really interesting to learn about these ideas you have for the people of Kasese Municipality, and I'm sure they are taking key interest in some of those issues you raised in tourism, sports tourism, in education, and in conserving culture as a tool for harmonious coexistence. Now, I'm sure that some people may be like, okay, these people are very serious, and away from the campaign, away from the work you do as a professional, how do you spend time alone? How do you relax? Where can a young person or a colleague find you away from the campaign and sit down and have a soda with you?
Well, I love sports. if
Came out clearly.
yeah, I love sports so much that I'm always home watching recorded matches, live matches.
Wow.
You start looking at athletics. Recent, I was calling Cheptegei, telling thank him, you man. That record was super. I need to come and test you.
Yeah, that guy set a very, very good record.
When Stephen Kiprotich won, I told him, when you win the marathon again, I will give you my salary the whole year. But of course, I knew those records you can't have them again.
Yes.
Doing such records depends the environment, the atmosphere.
Yes.
We can speak sports until tomorrow. But what I mean is, I'm always a sports person.
Yes.
One, I wrote to the president. We want Nyakasanga ground to be constructed. I'm betrayed to him because I'm a normal Karamagi. I'm just an aspirant.
Yes.
But if I was a flag bearer, if I was an MP, I would use that authority.
That influence, yeah.
Please, we want Nyakasanga Stadium built because he has built Buhinga.
Yeah, I saw. I was in Port Porto a lot of times.
Buhinga has been built by the president.
Oh.
Not only Buhinga, but a couple of fields and stadiums. The president has ordered the UPDF to build the stadium. The
UPDF apparently has a whole construction unit.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we want Nyakasanga also to be built. I wrote him a letter. Hope he received it, or he will be receiving it at a time. Because that's one thing we need to start with. So that it can be a center for all of us. If you want Karamagi, meet him at the stadium.
Wow.
Or meet him at Nyakasanga ground.
I know that.
So that will be the center.
A lot of people spend leisure like that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people relate with soccer,
and
sports,
on top of that, boxing. Rwabogo, the greatest boxer we had in the country, was from Kilembe Boxing Club.
KBC.
Do you think Kilembe Boxing Club is there? No, it's not there. And people don't want to know. So I am during my campaigns, I'm meeting the boxers in Kasese. How do we put this back? Revamping it. I have Tetas Tugume will come. He has donations from me, but I want him to give us some gloves, give us some punching bags. We have other boxers around. There are guys who are studying within Nakasongola Army because I studied in Nakasongola Army and other schools.
Oh,
Army schools, that's where I studied from.
Hey, you studied there?
Yeah. So these guys are others are in Sweden. We are doing boxing. I want to be in touch with them so they give us those materials. Kasese has talented guys around. So the proposal I gave to the president was to have Nyakasanga ground built and the other corner put a boxing hall. Because of the waters we have.
Yes.
We have pipes that broke off recent, some years ago. And I'm very shocked. No politician is concerned about the waters. And the researchers I came with in January must have been early this year. One thing they testified that if Kasese is not serious, the lower Kasese will be swept away with waters.
Because that whole mountain is a catchment of water. For many rivers in this region.
Exactly. So that means if water has increased, the lower people in Nyakasanga, people around the Kubiri, you know where Kubiri is.
Yes.
Call it Kubiri. All these guys will be washed away by water. If people don't sit down and say, please, these pipes must be put back to its use. Let us have the water channels put in the right place. Let us not have little money to work and then put in our pockets. You're putting the people's life at risk.
Yes.
People are at risk because the waters will sweep away their houses very soon. When you go to Kitoro, if you go to Nyakasanga, when it rains, you feel almost you're going down.
You're sinking.
The water levels are so close, they have softened the ground. That is too dangerous for the people and they don't know. People are living in ignorance. Even the Bible says many people are perishing. It's because they're ignorant, they don't know.
Yes.
So we need to help them. And it cannot come better unless you're a political head. Yeah,
when you're a political leader, you control resources and you have the influence. It's so good to hear about your leisure time and the things that excite you away from politics and away from your profession. And I'm sure that young people will find that very, very relatable. So in one final word, what is your last word to the people of Kasese Municipality?
Yeah, Kasese Municipality, the glory days are returning. The days and the stories we used to have from our parents, our grandparents, how Kasese big was. It is the time for us to have them. If you read the Bible in Exodus,
yes,
you realize that the Israelites suffered when they are from Egypt to the promised land. Just because along the way, they lost Moses' touch and Aaron. These guys were getting communication from God that this is what you're supposed to. But people, I think because of becoming impatient. They started thinking now they can prize another small gold they can do, and they stayed in the wilderness for 40 years. Those who failed to know what God was saying perished. And those who knew what Moses was getting, the commission was getting from God, finally reached the promised land. We've been in a wilderness as Kasese, from the ADF, from different attacks, from our kingdom. Everything has been affecting us. But I think time has come. Let us come out of the wilderness and have our promised land restored. So time has come. Voting is 14th January. I'm Karamagi Stephen Glen.
Yes.
In the campaigning, there is Karamagi Stephen Zedekiah. My grandfather is one of started the district, started the town of Kasese. So time has come for us to move forward. Vote the right person for your child, for yourself, and for the development and the business of Kasese. Thank you very much. I remain Karamagi Stephen Glen.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing to have you on the show in the Know Your Candidate digital campaign.